Hi, this is the description of my entry into the latest Tabletop Impulse Hobby Challenge. It is quite a fun one, where I get to vote for what Phil will have to paint and he will tell me what to paint. Unfortunately, there's been a little error here in the sort of timekeeping department of my brain, which included December. It turns out it is until December, which makes quite a huge difference when you're already at the 26th. So I might come a bit off as a bit stressed today, and there might be some rough edges in the video. Here we already have a mistake. Did I remember to tell anyone which team I'm doing? No. It's these guys, the Corsair Voidscarred. I have no real idea what sets these guys apart from regular Eldar, except I suppose they're pirates in some sort of sense, because of the name. And they're supposed to be in a synthwave color pattern. The picture that Phil showed looked very much like what I would call vaporwave. I have no real idea about the difference there either, but as far as I understood my task, it is to build a space elf pirate warband and then paint them in a hideously bright and colorful scheme. Oh, and if you don't want to sit through my ramblings about, like how I created these and stuff like that, just, jump to the appropriate timestamps. They are further down the line. So enough talking, let's get some elves on the table. Let's find the elves. Sorry, I do know that they're not elves, like elves in space as proper. I think they're lore-wise something else, but I apologize beforehand because I will probably say elves a lot of times. I will try to say what is it? Eldar. I will try to say Eldar as much as I can, but I will probably say elf at some point. Anyway, let's move on. I will need 9 guys, I think. Yes, one. Yeah, I don't know how to say that. That is a leader. 1 leader and 8 dudes. And the minimum viable product here is 1 leader with a rifle or pistol, and 8 guys with pistol or rifle. That is good. Then we can have like a base of the team here, because I don't think I can spend as much time converting them as I would like to. I don't really know what the other ones are. We'll just look at the pictures and see which one matches them closely. So 9 people with rifle or pistol. This will be the solid basis of this team. It is a second-hand purchase of 5 like regular, I think that they're like the dark elves, dark Eldar guys with actual rifles. Got like really pointy hats with even pointier things on there. Because I'm not buying this team. Not only is it like, actually too late to actually buy the team, it is also that I already bought it once, me and my friend, and he built them, I painted them, and we never played with them. So there's no way I'm buying this team. But we do have some survivors though, because when we were doing that, I also bought some witches. I think they're like misspelled, probably some sort of copyright thing. That was used for testing colors, and 2 of them survived somehow without a basis. But more importantly, they also came with a bunch of these proper elf weapons. Space elves, Eldar. But that is 5, 6, 7. Oh, yeah, that's right. I got this guy as well. He's like also an actual real elf, Eldar, with a heavy weapon. I have no idea, but it has this right sort of seashell-looking appearance. Probably some sort of lobster launcher or something. Perhaps you can see in the book later which one it is, but whatever sort of gun it is, it will get painted. because unfortunately I can't spend as much time on converting as I would like to today, but I'm really eager to do some painting because I've been doing terrain. I've been basically designing my own line of terrain for an upcoming event here where I get to host a small tournament in my own sort of game, and I've been designing terrain for that. I'm quite proud actually. Not that it looks very good, but it actually is very, very sort of high utility value. Anyway, back to elves. I do have some dark elf bits, like actual elves, dark elves, but no bodies. I do have woodelves. I suppose woods are located on a planet, and a planet is in space, so I suppose they're kind of space elves. Let's see if we have something more. I don't know. This looks kind of elfy. I don't think I'm gonna go for some sort of zombies or something. It's mostly like zombies and stuff over there. Well, the Frostgrave stuff is not really the right thing. No, I can have as much goblin and zombie parts as I like. It's not gonna help me. I think we'll just get cracking and we'll see whatever comes along the way. I probably won't show too much of the actual conversion today because, well, it's not going to be that much of conversion. It's mostly going to be mold line removal, and the important part is the painting. Let's get to the painting. Let's have a look at what we have after scraping mold lines, rough colors, thick crust of glue, and replacing some broken stuff with bits from the witches. Stage 1 is complete. We got 9 bodies. Not looking too proud, but identifiable as the space elves. Then there was an unexpected turn of events. Phil prolonged the deadline to the 15th of December, which was really nice in my case. Unfortunately, those 2 weeks actually just gave me a few extra evenings, but that was enough to actually sprinkle in a bit of piratey bits in there as well, which I think really helped. I could not find a reasonably sized hook, but at least there is now a pirate hat and an eye patch. Thanks to a mishap, there will also be a peg leg down the line. I will talk a little bit more about the team later, but first let's get some paint in there. When it comes to the colors, it was pretty much drybrush with magenta from the bottom, drybrush with yellow from the top, and drybrush with a sort of blue or perhaps more cyan color over the weapons and other bits. It is all described in this video in case you want to know a bit more details than that. But that's pretty much the essence, and it's very simple and effective. Just as with the base, which is also in this video, it's pretty much 2 pieces of cardboard that were painted metal, and then I ran a contrast paint over them. It doesn't need to be a fancy base if the miniature itself is not very fancy, and it still looks kind of sci-fi. Yeah, so with that said, let's have a look at the team. Once there was this gang of ordinary Eldars living their regular Eldar lives, crafting pointy helmets or whatever they do. Then this woman came along. She was supposed to be the centerpiece. She was the one who came up with the whole pirate idea. She traveled the warp thing, got chicken feet and an urge to pillage. She was built strapping Eldar bits onto a demonette body, but I'm not very happy with the paint job, so she will just be the sort of mage or combat medic or one of those people. Yeah, let's move on to the next one. Then we have this guy that I for some reason named Captain Kirk. He was so stiff and ugly that I just had to keep him. He's also armed with this amazing gardening tool. Others have larger blades strapped onto their weapons, like double ones and whatnot, or even strapped onto their bodies. This guy must be very skilled, brave or foolish to go into combat with a tiny little rake. He's not wearing a helmet either, so I suppose he's foolish. Next up, we have the 2 surviving witches. I have to admit that they are essentially fillers. I dropped the right one on the floor, and as the leg broke, I took the opportunity to give her a peg leg. I painted it brown to make it stand out from all the bright colors, but it did not work at all. You probably would not even have noticed if I didn't tell you. Perhaps white would have been better, like I did with the Eoraptors. It's still one of my favorite teams of all time, and one of my least viewed videos. Anyway, this guy is probably the one that embodies the team best of all. It is an old Eldar body, where the broken arms have been replaced with newer stuff. I think it blends very well with the, like the old and the new, and it just looks plain good. Sort of action pose and whatnot. This one is probably the best pure example of the paint scheme. Apart from some mold line removal, a dot of leftover green stuff and 2 pieces of thick paper, this guy is in his original state. Phil is right, the color scheme really fits these guys. And this girl probably have the best all-around quality. I love the Matrix come on wink, but that arm is actually the original one. I just failed to align any of the included rifles with that hand, so I gave up and Jay gave her a point into the air rifle instead. She also has a cloak. There are a few cloaks throughout the team, mainly because I like to paint cloaks. They are just, quite obviously from the woodelves. I just cut the arrows away, and suddenly the quivers are something that you need in space instead. Then there is the heavy weapon. I still have no idea what kind of weapon this is. Please put it in the comments if you know. I figured that most people will look at the hat anyway. I watched some video a while ago where some guy made simple and effective hats. I tried to make the same, just to realize that if I did that, I had to chop off a bit of his head, and I didn't want to do that. In the end, I just formed a thin, flat disc of green stuff and pushed it downwards over his head before I raised the edges in a triangular form. With the context of the team, I'm quite proud of it. Finally, there is the one that I believe I like the best, like overall. I think that also makes him the leader, because I just love it. I supplemented the left arm and just the gun on the right hand side. I love the sort of awkward, stiff, broken appearance. I just added a cloak and an eye patch, and he was the leader. In the end, I finished second with these guys, which was fun. Yeah, there were not that many entries into the competition, but I do still feel kind of embarrassed because I think that some of the entries that I beat actually spent way more time painting their miniatures than I did. This is pretty much 2 evenings, and that is not some, it's not out of disrespect or some sort of laziness here. I rarely spend more time than this on a miniature, because I paint to enjoy myself, and I don't think it's very enjoyable to sit there and do little details over and over again. Sometimes I do that because I think it's fun, but I do it because it's fun, not because they're looking better that way or something. So if you like to spend time doing all little details and so forth, I just go for it. But if you just want to get things done, not just want to get things done, but if you want to see progress all of the time because you think that's fun, go for that one as well. You don't have to paint all of these fancy details, especially not if you have this sort of tequila sunrise arrangement. Then I think a lot of details will actually sort of ruin your miniature. Yeah, because the important part when you paint is that you should enjoy it. However you do it, you should enjoy it. Don't forget to enjoy your hobby.